All right, good day, everybody, and welcome to our presentation, Unlocking the Power of Mobile Forensics with ADF Solutions. We're going to go over some techniques for fast and efficient investigations. All right, I am your presenter for today. I'm Rich Frawley, and I am the Director of Training here at ADF Solutions. As you can see, that picture looks just like me. That was yesterday before I grew my beard. So about 8-9 years here with ADF Solutions, came on as a subject matter expert in digital forensics and moved up to the Director of Training, and during COVID, rebuilt all our training, put it online. And handle support here as well. So a lot going on here with training and support. But prior to that, I did 23 years in law enforcement, 17 of those years as a forensic examiner and investigator, doing all sorts of work. Any of you that have been doing this for any time, you probably have started your top 5 list, right? You know, up until the day you're done doing it, you're going to have these top 5 cases. I've got mine. But yeah, so 17 of those years as a forensic examiner and investigator, done all sorts of different cases. We were an affiliate of the ICAC there, so did a lot of ICAC work. Worked with the Crimes Against Children Task Force, the FBI up here in Connecticut, where I am. My partner actually did a lot of the online undercover work. I did the forensics and the investigations. So he did a lot of that on the FBI side. Worked alongside a lot of state and local. I've been doing this since 1999, 2000. So that's where I got my start. And soon after that, became certified through IASIS. So I got my CFCE in, I think, 2003. I went down to the 2003 class. Prior to that, a lot of other classes, search and national white collar crime, and just about everything you could think of. But a lot of state and locals, like I said, been around doing this. A lot of places didn't have people doing this way back when, so did a lot of work for other people. Worked with the FBI, alongside with them, I should say, Department of Justice, United States Postal Inspection Service, and just a host of other agencies in the area here. If you told me when I was looking to sign up to be a police officer back in '94, and you told me I would have been doing everything I've done up until today, I would have told you were crazy. Cops don't do that. But we do, and it's one of the reasons we're here today, right? We've going to learn about some stuff we can do that makes the job a little bit more exciting when you're out there on scene, right? Great stuff. So that's my contact information there, rfrawley@adfsolutions.com. Anything you have in ways of comments, concerns, conversations, you name it, I'm open to it. Questions, send them along that way. What we're going to do here today, I've already introduced myself. I'm going to introduce you to who ADF is. If you haven't heard, that's going to be short and sweet. We're going to talk about mobile device investigator, some of its capabilities. We're going to talk about it, things becoming a logical world. Current methods of the way things are done, or even past methods, and kind of our method, or way we're looking at things. And I say ours in we're designed, so it may be some methods you can use, but the tool is designed so that will work. Go over that. Look a little bit at a preview. Really mobile triage preview. We'll go over that. We'll also go over some screencast, screen record, screen capture, different ways you can do that in different situations. Some tips and tricks while I'm talking about that as well. With that, before I get anything, this is a tool I'm going to talk about some other methods and things like that. I'm going to talk about the tool. And with that, it's everything comes down to policy and procedure first, right? And tool is second. So anything I show can be done, but it needs to fit into your workflow or your policies or your procedures in order to do things. ADF Solutions. ADF Solutions has been around for about 18 years now. Our technological foundation is rooted in forensic triage. Our early years were spent creating software that was specifically used for image identification and analysis of those images in the child exploitation realm. And it was basically the government agencies and law enforcement where this was directed at, and the ones mainly asking for this technology at the time. The immediate value was a triage tool, and providing that on-scene intelligence, that capture of all that information. And we've since morphed from just that image identification and quick triage to gathering a lot more information, having you be able to continue an investigation with the information you're grabbing in a triage manner, right? So it's not just red light, green light, or here's a couple of things. We're actually giving you the ability to move forward that day with, preservation orders, search warrants, things like that. All things you kind of want when you're going into these places. Say, yeah, I want to keep my case going. I don't want to have to wait. So, along the years, we've moved along here, and, we've helped out a lot in reducing backlog, reducing the amount of items that have come into the lab, right? Being able, if we're going to be talking about on scene and going through things, being able to say, hey, this doesn't belong. So, we moved up. We really worked on the computer side of things. 2015, 2016, when I came on, there was a major interface change with the tool. It went from a Linux tool to a Windows-based tool. Well, I should say Linux boot, but it was still a Windows software. But there was an interface change. The ability to boot with a Windows device, think WinFE, got you into more computers without really having to mess around in the BIOS or screw the pooch with your encryption, things like that. So there was a major change there. A couple of years later, we added mobile, advanced logical acquisitions, and since that, an analysis of that. And since then, we've added all the previews, the screenshots, the screen recordings, and we're going to talk about why we kind of came along that way, and the lane we're in and the lane we're staying in, if you will. So mobile, it's becoming a logical world. I call it a logical world. They're really trying to, and when I say they, think all your Windows, think Android, think iOS or Apple. Just think of all these manufacturers. They're really trying to lock you out. They don't want you getting into devices. They're thinking privacy, no back doors, none of this stuff going on. So they're really trying to keep you out. They're really trying to keep it as a logical world, where you're not going to be able to get some of this stuff out of the devices, right? So already physicals, by going, say from entire encryption to single individual file encryption, right, change the game. So now there is no unallocated space, if you will. Now you're down to full file system, pretty much being the best gold standard, I guess, if you could say, if you've got the time and the money to do that. And then you have the advanced logical, and that's the most you're going to get without doing some kind of exploitation on that end to get that full file system. So they're really trying to keep you in this logical world. And along with that, thinking about if that's the way it's going, how much can we get? What can we get? And time is really becoming the essence here. It's really, investigations have changed from, it's not just the big cases that carry the the need for digital examinations anymore. There's a lot of small cases out there where you can grab information off of. Outside of search warrant and on-scene investigation, you have victim witness consent type situations as well, where you don't really need to bring it in to get everything, and people are reluctant to give you everything. Like I said, I spent my years doing this. I've done plenty of large cases. I've done plenty of small cases. I've run many small cases through a full deep dive, sweep out the corners of the case investigation. I am in no way saying that those are not necessary. They absolutely are. The forensic examiner, the policies, the procedures, all, right where they should be. But it's changing, right? We do have this. I see this now. It's here. I need to act on this, and I need to document that I came, I saw, I conquered type of thing. So start thinking that way. Getting the most out of your on-scene time. Get in, get out, and get to eat breakfast with everybody that came out on the search warrant with you, right? Or at least brunch, sometimes lunch, depending. But you really don't want to have to extend your time on scene. But you want to make the most of it. You want to make sure that, if you're leaving, it's not only with devices. Sometimes you want to make sure you're leaving with the person as well. And remember, this is a starting point. So back to what I was saying about deep dives and things like that. This is a starting point. Maybe you have something small. Maybe you're doing a triage. Maybe you're this is the suspects. This is grandma's pink iPad that can stay. This isn't the place to pull everything out. It's really, what am I looking for? What do I need to do to make decisions in order to get this case going? So usually it's focusing on your multimedia, your pictures, your videos, basic artifacts. You're not looking to do a full file system on scene and parse everything out and try to put it together. It's not making the most of your on-scene time. And it's, you just don't have the time to do that. You want to grab specific things that are going to help you make your decisions. Specific things that are, yes, not I need to investigate and put A, B, and C together. You may have those, and at that point, it's like bag tag. Maybe I don't take somebody with me today. But if you're thinking in the ICAC realm, it's, did I find contraband? Did I find any hint of that where it's like, yeah, this has to come with me now. And he has to come with me now, or she has to come with me now, or they have to come with me now. So you want to focus on that finite stuff that's going to be quick, but help you make decisions. This is where on-scene time kind of gets clouded sometimes. You want to make the most of your time, but you also have this like need almost to want to grab everything. Well, just show me everything, right? And that's not going to work. So you really need to focus in. What's going to help me make a decision, or help me decide which devices go and which devices stay. Again, it depends on what you're looking at, what type of case it is. I'm not talking about on scene at a homicide where the house is locked down and identification bureaus in there filming and photographing, and you're putting your booties on to walk through the house. Yeah, we're not talking about that. Those things are going to get bagged and tagged and right to the lab. We're talking the child exploitation cases here. We're talking maybe a threatening. We're talking maybe some kind of financial case where you're on scene and you need to make decisions before things even get shut down. We had a dark web case once where let's say the suspect was deceased and the computer was up and running, and it was a dark web drug cryptocurrency type case, right? So computer's up. What are we looking at for here? Can we grab some information now to decide where this needs to go, how it needs to how it needs to be done from here, how we need to proceed with this case. So again, your investigators, your examiners, you know your cases better than anybody else, and it's a team effort, hopefully, where somebody's not just going off and making these decisions. Team, yes, this is the way we're going to look at it. This is the type of stuff we're going to do here. And thinking about this, thinking about time, thinking about getting the most out of the scene, thinking about reducing backlog. You also have to think about, all the places out here, and maybe some of you are watching, that don't have this ability. Everything that involves a digital device goes to some lab. And with these small cases, when it goes to that lab, the priority on that is, depending on where it is kind of low, right? Something else is going to come in and bump it and bump it and bump it. So now your case is out 6 months. So a lot of this allows you to also grab some information that's going to allow you to continue your investigation while that device goes for what it needs. So think about those situations as well. Right. Again, logical world, I kind of put that in there, just thinking of there's so many devices encountered. So many. A lot more than, we used to go into a house and when I first started this, it was all computers. We weren't into mobile devices yet. And it was like a family computer, maybe a laptop, maybe a work computer. You were talking 3, maybe 4 devices, and they were all desktop or laptop computers, right? Now you move up, we start getting into phones. Way back when the phones first started coming out, maybe 1 person or 2 people in the house had a phone. You still had the family computers. Now kind of the computers have turned to tablets, have turned to more phones. So now everybody in the house has a phone. But computers aren't going away. They're still there. They're still used for school. They're still used for work. But yeah, you can easily walk into a house and have 1 person that has 2 or 3 devices just for themselves. Now you put 5 people in that house, you got a lot of devices. You guys, I don't need to tell you that, but kind of works into what we're talking about here today. The time to acquire all these devices, especially if you're in some kind of time crunch, you're in a critical incident, mass casualty incident, you're in a situation and a search warrant where you're trying to figure out, okay, what goes, what stays. You're just looking for 1 or 2 pieces of something off a device. So that time to acquire it, to get a video or a picture, becomes, larger than it needs to be. The time to acquire on scene and try to make these decisions. And we're all trying to do it. We're all saying, yeah, we want to look at this stuff on scene, but even just a straight up logical is we have to wait to get that, and then we have to analyze it. Think about your consent, your witnesses, what or limitations that's put on you for what you can get off a device, right? You're coming in now and saying, hey, it's a mobile device. I kind of have to make a full acquisition of this device in order to get what I want. But then the court's coming back and saying, no, you could only look at the stuff in between these dates, or you could only get this. So they're putting a lot of limitations on that kind of grind the wheels, if you will. And then there's the limitations of what's available, not only on the device in your acquisition, new apps and things like that. But what's going to be available in your acquisition type, right? So you are on scene and you see an end-to-end encrypted chat, and that's something you want to document, and you can see it right there. You're not going to get it in an advanced logical or a straight up logical. You're going to have to go for the full file system. It's just, you're not going to be able to do that on scene efficiently. So some of the things to think about when you're thinking about on scene and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. How are we doing it now? Some of us, based on who I've been talking to or what I used to do or try not to do. I started doing triage as early as I could in my career because I was a one-man shop. So triage to me is nothing new. I was always looking to reduce backlog. But sometimes current method is, all right, we're going there. Everything that's a digital device is being bagged and tagged and coming back, and it will be looked at and gone through later. Seized and physicals of everything are obtained. This we've had a few cases on, and we knew when you go in, you kind of know you're looking at one person, you're looking at their devices. You can easily clear some of the other ones, but maybe you didn't have the tools available to you to do it, or the time. You just decided to take everything, and then you end up taking school devices or kids' devices that are going to school, and they use them for everything, and they want them back. And that's almost as difficult as getting a search warrant itself, to release things that you seized on a search warrant. Man, I've been there, and it's a lot of paperwork and waiting and getting things to be presented to a judge so they can scratch the one item off that's been seized, or a couple items that have been seized that you want to give back. We looked at them, there's nothing on it, you can give them back, but it's not that easy, right? Maybe a logical acquisition and analysis on scene can be done. If you're just doing a logical, not an advanced logical, you might be able to get that quicker and see some stuff in there. Screenshots, current method, sometimes. And when we talk about acquisitions, right? So you got your logical, you got your advanced logical, you got your full file system. And the one that nobody talks of is the manual method. So let me see your phone, and you swipe and you look, and that gets done, right? Not that anybody wants to actually say, yeah, we were doing that. We're going to show you here today some ways you can avoid that. Screenshots that were sent to you. That's kind of what's being done now too. You have an investigation, and the person comes in with their printouts or their screenshots, and you want to try to get their phone, but I don't have it anymore. Or now you're into search warrants and subpoenas and things like that. Not the best way, but there is case law out there where it's stuck. You have screenshots sent to a secure server. You'll take the screenshot right from the device up to let's say evidence.com or something like that, right? I know some people are doing that. Bus video will get sent directly, things like that. Some people are using free tools to mirror the device and taking screenshots as well. That works, right? Maybe a little difficult. Maybe not the best for everybody, but for some, it's maybe come second nature to do that. Still requires some work, some knowledge. Or a camera stand. They're bringing in the phone, putting it down, taking the camera stand, and taking their pictures of it, screen by screen. Again, difficult, but all of this can be done, is being done, takes a long time. Maybe some of it's okay and some of it's not the best ways to do that. What can we do? So our methods, or methods you can employ. Again, policy, procedure. Can I fit this into my workflow? Is there something in here? Yeah, it will work this way, but maybe not that way. Will it save me time? Will it save me money? Can I reduce my licenses elsewhere? A lot of things, but our methods, the methods we are going to talk about here today. Connect and collect works well with victims and witnesses right off the bat. Just with the tool here, we're going to show you in a little bit. You connect it, you collect it. They walk away happy, you walk away happy. And again, you're the investigators, you're the examiners, you know case by case what you can and cannot do. So But connect and collect. Record your entire session. You can connect the device and put on a recorder and record everything that's being done on that device, screen by screen. You can take screenshots along the way. So it not only gives you what you're looking for, not only shows the usage of the device, how it's used, what people understand. If you're showing this to a prosecutor, a judge, a jury, it's hard to explain a piece of paper with facts on it or translate it to the layman. It's easy to show a video. Hey, this is what they needed to do to get here. This is where, oh, I understand that. I do that on my own phone, right? So you can record the entire session. You record snippets. If there's a video, you just want the video. Maybe you don't have the ability to collect that. You don't want to make an acquisition. You have the ability to play it, record it, and get the audio along with it as well. You could screenshot the file on the device so you get all the other metadata, dates and times and things like that. And you can screenshot during the recording session. If you're just doing screenshots, anything that you see on that screen, 99.9% of the time can be collected, can be captured, if you will. There are some apps that when you are going to take that screenshot, if you're using it through, let's say, mirroring, detect that mirroring is running and will not show, will either black out the device or not allow the text to be shown on that page. And there's the others that will let you collect it, but it may send a message to the other party that a screenshot has been taken. So there are a couple of things there that you may not be able to get. But if you're looking up front at triaging, or I'm in a situation where I need to grab this information, you'll be able to get something, if not everything. You'll be able to collect those end-to-end encrypted messaging, the signals, the discords, the telegrams, the WhatsApp, the Kik, whatever apps that are on there that may require a little bit more processing or a full file system. You'll be able to get those with this screenshotting method. You'll be able to screenshot settings, videos, images, metadata, a process. If you want to screenshot home screen to where the app is in a folder, to opening the app, to putting in a passcode, to showing the folders. Let's say we're talking a file vault, right? I required this password to open it. I'm in here. Here are 4 folders. These 2 are password protected. Here's the password I needed to get in here. Here are the videos or pictures that are in this place. So you can tell a story with your screenshots as well. A lot of times you talk screenshots and automatically somebody will think, oh, you took a screenshot of the chat. But it's more than that. One chat, you may want to actually get the dates and times that each one was sent. So on iOS, you can swipe and the dates and times come out for each chat, and you can screenshot that. You can bring up metadata from a photo. You could bring up pictures. You can bring up drone videos. So the hidden folders, the deleted folders. I deleted pictures, but they're still sitting in here for 30 days. Or I have a secure folder or a hidden folder. Where else? Photo vaults, hidden folder. Oh, you can sort if you're looking for that type of thing. Show me the pictures in the DCIM folder on an iOS device that were from Instagram. Right, that can easily just be brought up and all those pictures shown in thumbnail view, and you can go through and view those, screenshot those, capture those as well. Of course, it needs to fit into your workflow and your situation, but it can be done, and it can be done in a manner that isn't the manual method, if you will. So let's see this in action. I saw before that Megan says, is there any question, post them in the Q&A tab. I will be monitoring that. If there's any questions, I will try to answer those at the time. But what I want to show you here is a mobile device investigator. Very clean, very simple to see here. It's got 3 menu items to get you started. So not a lot of overhead in making decisions here. Not a lot of overhead in install. It's mobile device investigator. We give you a driver install, so all your basic drivers that you'll need. And Apple iTunes from Apple needs to be installed. And that's it. Lightweight. You could run this on a computer, i5, 8 gigs of RAM. Recommended, i7 with 16 gigs of RAM. It's not a heavy. Doesn't require a lot to run. The processing is more for the images at the end. We do classify images, 13 different classifications. Think portrait, people, currency, weapons, vehicles, a couple of pornography categories. And then we also categorize by age group. So you have infant, toddler, child, and adult. So you have 4 categories there that you can separate. So when that classification is being done, once the parsing of everything's been finished, that classifier takes a lot of the processing power. So that's where you're going to want processing power. Not really in the acquisition and not really in the analysis. Those will all help, but it's not required that it be that high. Your connection to the device and your RAM will be where most of your speed gets made up there. Mobile device investigator, investigate device, review your results, or setup and key management. So setup is you can customize your what we call search profiles. Search profiles are your set of instructions on what do I want to get out of my acquisition. First thing is I make an acquisition, and then what do I want to get out of it? So you can pick and choose. And I'll show you an example of this later with the times it took to do the device complete to, hey, I just need A, B, and C out of it. So I'll show you that here in a couple minutes. Investigate device, you can scan it. What the scan screen does, you can see I have an Apple device and a Google device set up here. These lower ones, it's the same device, just showing the MTP connection. The device up on top will get that MTP connection. This just shows you if you just wanted to get the media off of it, you can do it just that way. Device, search profile, again, set of instructions. Once you choose that, you give it a name and you hit scan. This brings me into an area, we're talking advanced logical, right? So it's not a full file system. So there might be things here on this device that might not be in an advanced logical. Now, when we're talking about this, you do need access to the phone. We are not brute forcing. We are not rooting, jailbreaking, exploiting. This is a straight up, you have access to it. We're making the connection. We're going to grab as much as we possibly can off of that device with the standard protocols. With that, so you have access to it, and Kik may be on here and you want to screenshot that or record it. This gives you the opportunity to do that. If you don't, you just hit the acquire button and it's going to make the advanced logical acquisition of this device. When that is done, it will automatically start parsing it out. So that's what this screen does, all in one. From connection to it's parsed out, and you're going to start doing your analysis on it. We also give you the ability to make that acquisition here first. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to make an acquisition of this device. And this is what it's straight up acquisition. We're not doing screenshots in this screen. We're not doing recordings, straight up acquisition. What I didn't show you is my phones were connected already, but there is a wizard that helps you make a connection to a device. So first time the phone's being connected, you bring up the wizard. It asks you about airplane mode. Again, this is a policy procedure. What am I doing here? Do I need it to grab screenshots of something in the cloud? Or is this a straight up, this thing needs to be off and in airplane mode right now? So we give you that up front to make your decision. Once that's done, you would connect the device. It asks you to connect it, and then it goes through and it makes sure that everything's set and makes the connection and shows it to you here as the source. So that's acquire. Once the acquisition is done, you would go back into scan, right? And we have another thing to add phone. It says backup. It's your acquisition. You would point to ADF if we've made it. You would point it to the folder where you saved the acquisition, and it would load up underneath here as an acquisition. You can see we also have, if you have physicals, if you have full file systems from GrayKey or Celebrite, you can bring those in here as well and parse them with our tools. So even though our lane is advanced logical, if we support something, so we support WhatsApp, we support Telegram, we support all of these different apps. If it's not in an advanced logical, okay, we support it. We're not going to give you anything out of it because it's not there. But if you have a physical from one of those other companies and you put that full file system in here, we will parse that information out if it's supported. So we do get some information out of those as well. Then we have the screencasting. This is where we'll come make our screenshot and screen recordings. I'm going to show you that and then preview. I want to show you that right here. You get on, you're looking to make decisions quick on devices. You're looking at, I'm on scene. I have a bunch of devices. I don't want to bring them all back. I have grandma's pink iPad. I'm on a child exploitation case. I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for media. Let me connect the device here and let me see what's on it. So just to show you, I have the device connected here. Hold on. All right, so I have the device connected here. I hit proceed, and it starts making that logical acquisition of the device. Here, it's backing up some files to get it started. It starts processing them. You can see up top it's collecting some files. It's starting to do the ADB backup. It's throwing a agent up on the device to collect more information. And you can see here, I already have artifacts, device information, contacts, some Android messages, calls, the installed applications, application usage, accounts, all that off this Android right away. And it's collecting files up above as well. Files cast is showing me there's about 500 pictures gathered already. However, if I go into my gallery, here's the really neat part. I'm just going to hide the properties of each one of these. It's showing me up here that there's 2,911 images that have been detected right off the bat on the SD card and the picture files. Your most recent are up on top, which is nice because you can say if you're looking specifically for something here, there's these two screenshots. These are what I'm looking for. I'm just going to bring up here the properties. There's the screenshot. There's the properties of it. If I can see this preview, it means it's already been moved from the device into my case. If that's what I'm looking for, I can stop my preview. Everything I've collected is saved, just as if you did a case. So now I have those, and I can save it, put them in my report, do whatever I need to do. I have all the properties of it, the actual dates and times. If there was any metadata associated with it, I have that. I've got my integrity hash of what it was on the device as to also coming off, that nothing's changed. I've got the path of where it was saved. So I got all that information. It's that quick. This is still running, though. I use dogs as contraband, so I wouldn't even need to go any farther. This phone, stop it, bag it, tag it, bring it back for its full investigation. If it's grandma's pink iPad and there is no dogs or anything like that on here, okay, this one can stay behind. Again, it's a start. You don't have to let this finish. You can stop it, close it, done, bag and tag, give it back, or let it keep running. How long will this run? It will run as long as a logical acquisition takes on that device. So if it would typically take 30 minutes for that device, a complete preview will take you that long. But that's for collection. You're previewing, so you're going to see a lot of the multimedia right off the bat. Just to come back in, I hook up another phone, bring it in now and start looking at this one. And this one I'm looking for videos. So this starts collecting. I'm going to go into the videos panel, and it's already identified 17 videos in this device, right? It knows I'm in here. The tool learns what you're doing. It can sense that we're in the video folder, so it's going to put a priority on collecting the videos. Properties, metadata, frames, first frame, last frame, 48 from in between. Gives me a good idea what's in this video without having to play it. So maybe it's not collected yet, but I have my frames, right? So I can start going through here and seeing what may or may not be on the phone. Here's one. This may be what I'm looking for, or, now I can play it. If I play it, it means it's been moved from the device into my acquisition here. It's been saved. If that's what I'm looking for, I can stop my preview, and all that's been saved. Disconnect the device, add another device. If I wanted to go back, just this is what you'd be looking at here. These are my scan results. This is my last preview. Now it brought me back to exactly where I was when I closed it. So I'm on that exact video. I can tag it. I can write any comments I want on it, but I do have it here now. I can play it. I can save it out. I can open it with another viewer. I can do whatever I want with it. So that's how preview works. Really connect and collect and get a pretty good idea of what's in there. iOS is the same process. So if I go into here and hit preview, I have my iOS device. I hit proceed. Same thing. It's going to start caching the files and making that acquisition. You're going to want to look at your phone. It may ask you to trust the computer. Now I'm getting the trust prompt on my phone. But this is just taking this is going to take just a little bit longer than an Android speed-wise, but I shouldn't have to trust. But it's going to do the same thing. It's going to come up, but with iOS, which is nice on the anything that involves your anything that involves multimedia, it will it focuses on multimedia first. You're not going to get as many artifacts on an iOS device as you will on an Android device. It's just the way it comes across the wire, and that's what what we have to work with, right? We can't go in and pick and choose when you want to do something quick. We take it as it comes across and present it to you right away. So this is up and running. You can see I have the device information of the phone. I can come in and look at that. I can go to the pictures and start looking at that information. I can go to the videos and start looking at that information. Again, 466 videos already identified. We've got the properties, the metadata, the frames, and the preview. Preview comes up, it's been moved in. So works exactly the same. Again, iOS is a little heavier on multimedia than artifacts. Android will get you artifacts and multimedia at the same time. screencasting. So this is where we have the same device. It's open. And I do see a question here, which is, can we unlock the phone with this tool? We do not do any unlocking of the device. You need to know what it is. Again, that's our lane. Advanced logical, have access to the device. And we'll pull off as much as we possibly can without doing any exploitation of the device. Will it support up to iOS 17? Yeah, that iPhone I just had connected is an iPhone 14 Pro Max with 17.3.1 on it. So latest and greatest. We've had no issue with 17 other than the screenshot or developer mode. It's not our issue. We're able to deal with it. It's the issue of what needs to be done to turn it on, which I'll show you here and explain in a second. Since I'm in screenshot screen recording, Apple iOS device, it's sitting here again. You can see 14 Pro Max with 17.3.1. I'm going to hit proceed, and we are in the option if I want to take screenshots of this device, maybe victim witness consent, all right, or maybe I need it to move on from this point. You have some choices here. With 16, 17, you are not going to be able to just take screenshots without putting Apple's new developer mode on. In order to do that, you have to not only have access, but remove the password. In order to remove the password, you have to have the Apple ID. So if you do have that, you're going to remove it. You're going to put in the Apple ID. When you put in the Apple ID, it removes everything from the wallet. So if the person had anything in their wallet, that's going to be taken out. It can easily be turned back on, reverse process. But you can see if I'm taking your phone and asking you to do all this, you can see where the reluctance would come in. So we give you a little bit easier of a way to get around that. You go to screenshots and screen recording. This is where you can, really show what's on here. But in order to do this, you need a connection with the phone and the computer have to have that connection in order to be able to do this. A couple ways to do it. You can do it through Wi-Fi, computers on Wi-Fi, and your phone's on what you just put your phone on the same Wi-Fi network. It can be a private Wi-Fi network. It doesn't have to be one attached to the internet. You can tether the phone, so you connect the phone and turn on the personal hotspot. That way, the phone and the computer are on the same wavelength as well. And I think there's another method, but either way, you make those connections. Once that's done, you go to the phone settings, and it'll come up here in a second. You mirror. So you bring down the control panel, hit the mirroring button, and there it is, showing you that I connected it there to ADF, which is on the computer Mongo. And now I have access to screenshot anything that's on that computer. I just hit the camera button, and up it comes. If I wanted to record everything I did, I just hit the camera button, and I am now making a recording of everything that's being looked at on this device. So moving these around, I'm just going to stop that recording. I'm going to highlight it. So now the recording's in this window, and I'll play it. So you can see here that this is the recording of everything that I was doing on this device at that time. I can go anywhere and start taking screenshots of what I want to go into here. That what I was just showing you here. So you can see all these folders, all these nested apps, right? Really difficult in this type of situation to say, all right, let me record what's on this device, or well, let me take screenshots. But if you swipe all the way over on an iOS device, you have the app library on the top. I can touch in there. And now these are all the apps that are downloaded and usable by the user. Can they have hid some of those? Yes, they can be hidden. They can also bypass having them on a home screen and just go to the library. So that's the best place to record what might be on that device. So that's iOS. I make my screenshots, my screen recordings. I can group them. When I'm done, I can make the acquisition, which would add these to the acquisition, or this is all I wanted. I got a suspect or a witness or a victim that's willing to give me a couple of things off the device. I could just finish it and save it right there. They can sit right next to you while you do this. If it's a reluctant witness or a victim, like, hey, I'm willing to give you this, but you're not going in the other room. You're not making an acquisition. They could sit right next to you and watch exactly what's going on. They could even maneuver the phone while you take the screenshots. It just gives you a little leg up instead of having that evidence walk out the door. I'm going to show you iOS or Android here as well. And we have landscape on here. Because not on MDI only, but if you have our computer side of the house, or you have an acquisition that was done on the computer side of the house, you can do Chrome same way as a mobile device. You have access to it. You can set it in landscape mode and take your screenshots as well. Or if you want the phone sideways, you're going to take your screenshots that way. You can put it in landscape mode as well. I don't want to do landscape. Let me go here. Portrait is typically what your phone's going to be. You can see Android automatically comes up. There I am on the home screen of the Android device, and I can start taking my screenshots. Some of the differences here, well, not really differences. I just have more stuff in here. Here's Telegram. Screenshot that. Here's Barry. I can go into Barry and get his information that I may need for search warrants or subpoenas or whatever. Here's I have a victim's phone. This is the suspect maybe. So now I have his information there. And what you're not also seeing is I'm controlling the phone with my mouse, or I could also do it from the touchscreen within Android, not with iOS. But I wanted to get into one of these. There's a secret chat you can see here. I brought this one up. This is a little older of an Android device, so I am able to get that screenshot of that. You can see there. Some of them, it wouldn't come up on the screen as well. So that was Telegram. I have Kik in here. So I want to bring this one up. This is a little bit longer of a chat. I'm at the bottom of the chat session. This person's willing to give me everything that's in here, or I want everything that's in here, depending on your situation. We have scroll buttons for Android. I just hit the scroll up. It pages up by itself and takes the screenshots along the way. So now here you can see I have 7 pages of those screenshots. If I wanted to go back and open up one of these images in here and get that information, I can do that. You can see I'm looking at the thumbnail of that in the chat, and it's no longer available in the cloud, so I get image not available, but I can see the image in here. So pretty neat that way. Excuse my ad here. If I wanted to video this and need the audio, I can record that and the audio would come off along with it. Did all that. Okay. I know I have talked a little bit more than I wanted to. I'm coming up to the end here. That's screencasting. Do the screenshots and screen recordings manipulate any original data on the phone? A good question. So no more than me coming in and navigating to that, right? When we're taking the screenshot of it, we're actually using the mirror of it to get that shot. We're not doing anything to the phone. We're not invoking the screenshot tool on the phone. We're not doing any of that. So whatever you need to do to navigate to that picture and get it is what's being done on that device. What I wanted to show you here in review scan results. So when you process those screenshots, I go through and I take the screenshots. I have a summary screen, date and time that I took it, the device that I took it from. So everything's being logged that way. Really good for your chain of custody. Every picture has the date, time, and hash value, or every screenshot has a date, time, and hash value and the device it was taken from. I have 17 screenshots here. It took 16 seconds for our tool to process that and make a case of it. Here's all the properties: date, time, hash, device it was taken from. The preview of it, right? There's the screenshot I took. We run it through optical character recognition, pull the text out of it, so it's now searchable. So there's one in here that I found. It said John. Hey, John. I'm just going to type in John and search for that word. And I get 2 hits up on top. The first one, there's the properties. There's the preview. So in here, it's John McCready is the name. And then if I go to my second hit, this is the screenshot. Excuse me. Hey, John, what's up? It's Lex. Thanks for the dog pics. So easily searchable. So you can tag and sort and filter and do what you need to do. One of the things I neglected to mention during a preview too, as you're doing a preview, there was 2,900 pictures on there. I can filter those pictures looking for metadata, looking for size, looking for dates, looking for whatever filter is available. I can search down to that specific filter. What I wanted to show you was time here. This was an iPhone 7. Summary page down on the bottom, target device. Advanced logical acquisition of this device took 25 minutes and 29 seconds. It's got 25,000 pictures and videos on it, 140,000 browsing history, 31,000 texts. It's a lot. It's typical usage of a device. Some will have a lot more, some will have a lot less. But 25 minutes, 30 seconds to acquire this device. That was done on a computer with 8 gigs of RAM. When the acquisition was done, it went through and did the parsing of everything. It took another hour and 11 minutes. Total time for this device was an hour and 35 minutes. You don't want to be doing that on scene, or even when you're looking for specific items. So what you can do is make that acquisition 25 minutes. And I was saying you can use our search profiles, which are customizable. So you customize one to get out of it what you want: calls, messages, contacts, device information. Same acquisition. Excuse me. Same acquisition, 25 minutes, 31,000 messages, 1,100 contacts, 335 calls in 30 seconds. So 25 minutes, 30 seconds, plus 30 seconds to process, 26 minutes. I can take this, put it into what's called our standalone viewer, hand that off to somebody else on a thumb drive. They can go to another computer, open it up, start going through it and pulling out what they need. And then you can either focus on another device or do a more serious processing of this acquisition, like the whole hour, another hour and 11 minutes. If a computer with 16 gigs of RAM, that time would have been even shorter or faster, if you will. So you have that. I can show you classification really quick here. So this was a device. We have a classifier. Like I said, it's got some pornography categories, currency, people, weapons, vehicles, portrait, right? So think about, you're doing investigations with, you're doing gang investigations. So categorizing thousands of pictures on there, 25,000 pictures. I want to find the ones where he's holding the money, the gun, and it's a selfie, right? So there's 3 categorizations that are going to get that information for you. You really be able to filter down on what you want to look at. But that's all. It's quick, on scene. Pick it up, get what you get. And with that, I've been answering the questions as they come along. I really do appreciate your time here today. Let me just do one more thing here. There we go. I want to thank you. You do have choices. You made a choice to come here and spend it with me today. I do appreciate that. Hopefully you got something out of it. You had my R4all at adfsolutions.com. If it's something you're interested, try adf.com. We work as a team here. So any questions you have, we'll be able to answer. Again, thank you. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Cyber Social Hub. And you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of the week.